Hi friends, my name is Sharon and welcome to Lettuce Health. Today we're going to be learning all about making delicious salads. We're going to do a crudite, we're going to learn how to make some salad dressing, we're going to have some delicious fresh vegetables. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to work on today is going to be our green goddess dressing. We're going to make a green goddess dressing to go with our fresh veggie tray, our crudite. Green Goddess is actually a classic salad dressing, I think made in maybe the 70s or 80s last century. So the one we're making today is going to be an avocado-based Green Goddess dressing. So we're going to use some avocado, some green onions, some garlic, lime juice, very delicious fresh stuff. But before we get started, let's talk about the star of our recipe today, which is the avocado. This is something that people always ask me, how do I pick a good avocado? You've probably seen a million videos on YouTube and Instagram about, oh, pull out the seed and do this and do that. This is how I pick an avocado, and it's really easy. You want to use your hand. So you want an avocado, depending on what you're using it, that's going to be a little bit firm. So when you squeeze, it should give a little bit for a salad or for a dressing. Now, if you're making guacamole or something where you want to kind of mash up that avocado, you definitely want something a little bit squishier. But for our purposes, we're going to give it a little squeeze and know that that's okay. I know there's some videos out there that tell you to pull this seed out, and if it comes out, it's right. You definitely can do that. I personally don't do that because if it's not right, now you got it without the seed. So that's just me. Give it a squeeze and you should be good to go. So before we dive into our avocado, we're going to start with our green onions, also sometimes called scallions. We're just gonna rough chop this because this is going to get all blended up. So it doesn't have to be, diced or finely chopped up or anything. We really just want to kind of chop it up enough to get it into our cup. We're gonna blend this up in a bit. So you just wanna cut this, make sure you keep your fingers out of the way. We're just gonna this is a bunch, and depending on the size of your onions, you're gonna want maybe about 6 to 7. If they're really skinny, then you might get a little more than that, but one bunch should be enough, should give us about a cup worth of onions. So we're gonna put that in here. Then we're gonna come to our avocado. Now to cut an avocado, it's really easy. You just wanna put your knife in and then just kind of roll it around, keeping those fingers safe. Coming back to where we started, then we're gonna twist it and off it comes. Then when you get the seed out, you wanna just take your knife, take your knife and twist it out of there again. And so we have our avocado. With our spoon, we're gonna scoop it out, get that into the cup. Nice and yummy. You can tell by this is very bright green and yellow. This is exactly what we want for this recipe. We want it to be fresh, very yummy. Awesome, looking good. So we're gonna start with that. Then, I personally love garlic, so we're gonna put some garlic in here. I'm only gonna put 1 clove. I have a friend that if I tell her we're going 1 clove, she says, so you meant 10. I meant 1, but if you wanna put in 10, that's you. Okay, so we're also gonna have some mayonnaise in this. We're making a dip, so we want it to be a little bit creamy. We're gonna put about half of a cup of mayonnaise in here. Then we have buttermilk that we're also putting in here. This is about 1/3 of a cup of buttermilk. And then we're also going to add some fresh lime juice. I squeezed this lime juice earlier. We use fresh lime juice. When you are buying produce to make salads and things like that, you will see some things that come already pre-cut or pre-juiced, and there's a time and a place for everything. When it comes to citrus, if you have at your local grocery store or fruit market, they might have fresh squeezed juice, definitely go for that. You will sometimes see those bottles of lime juice that are not refrigerated. You don't want to go for that. That's not what we want here. So definitely, if you can, find a lime. If it's a little tough, you're just going to kind of rub it a little bit, break it up a little bit. That'll kind of get that juice going. Again, whenever you're picking out produce, using your hands is a good way to go, because when you put your hand on this, you can feel and see if this is going to be juicy or if this is going to be dry. So I can tell by feeling this This is gonna have a good amount of juice in it for me. It's gonna be great for my dressing. So if it's a little tough, you can kind of just give it a good squeeze, loosen it up, and then you're gonna cut it. And then you can see that we've got a good amount of juice in here to get out. So we've already squeezed this. We're gonna go ahead and put it in here. So in our dressing, we have our avocado, we have lime juice, we have buttermilk and mayonnaise. Of course, we have our delicious green onions. Then we have some garlic in here. Now, if you're gonna be making dressings, and I highly suggest you do, dressings are actually a really easy thing to make. One of the things that you're gonna need when you're making dressings is an immersion blender. You can find these at Target, Walmart, Amazon. These are super easy to find. You might even be able to find one at your local grocery store, but they're definitely something that you are going to want to have when you're making dressing. It makes your life so much easier, and I promise you, once you start making your own dressings, you will never go back to bottled dressing. I don't care, the yummiest dressing that you ever loved in your life, I promise you, we're gonna make dressing so much better than that. And it's not gonna have sugar added to it or a bunch of weird stuff. It's gonna be fresh and delicious. So we're gonna use our immersion blender, and we're gonna stick it right in. Sometimes it's called a stick blender for obvious reasons, it's a stick. So we're gonna put this in here, and we're just gonna blend it up. And this is going to make our dressing for us. So you want to get one that has a high speed to it. So you can open this up. And as you're blending this up, you're going to understand why it's called Green Goddess. It's a beautiful green color. And it is a goddess. It should be worshipped. This dressing is the queen. This is, at my restaurant at Baby Greens, this is our most popular salad dressing. It's so good. Keep blending until it gets nice and smooth, until you get to the consistency that you want. You want to make sure everything has been incorporated in this, that this is nice and smooth, and we're going to get one delicious flavor. All right, so we've blended up our dressing, and now we're gonna put it here center stage on our crudite. Look at this beautiful green dressing. I mean, this, guys, it's so yummy, and it's super fresh because we made it ourselves. Our crudite is only missing one thing. Of course, it's green. We're gonna add a bell pepper. And I saved this one for last so that we can talk about the best way to cut a bell pepper. I know it's kind of one of those things that if you are new to veggies or kind of making your own veggies at home, it can be a little frustrating. Like, this thing is weird and it's round and it's got all these curves. How am I gonna cut it? So I'm gonna show you a great and easy way how to cut this. So first, you're gonna take the top off. We're also gonna trim its little butt off right here. Make this easy, and I do not ever throw away food. So you can save this for, chop it up and put it in a salad, save it for a dish, but please do not put it in the trash. If anything, compost it, okay? So we're gonna make one cut on this, and then, oh my gosh, it just opened up. And so we take this part out, and now it lays flat. And if it's got these little things inside, we're gonna just kind of trim it down, but now our round thing has become a flat thing. So now it's easy for us to just cut this into strips. Now you don't have to worry about, is it gonna come out in a weird shape? Am I gonna cut my finger? Now we just made it super easy to cut, and it saves a lot of time. Before I learned how to do this trick, I will tell you, when I would cut bell peppers, it would take a lifetime. Now it's so easy because we're just gonna make a couple of cuts, get it flat, and then we're just cut in some strips. And even if you weren't doing crudite, you can use the same technique for if you're doing a stir fry, if you're putting this in a salad, any kind of way that you're needing to chop a bell pepper, this is gonna be the way that you're gonna wanna do it because it's easier. Like I said, it's also safer for your fingers. You know, as you do more salads and veggies, you're gonna be doing a lot of cutting. So we always wanna find the easy, safe way to get it done. And so now we're gonna put that on our veggie platter. And now it's finished, and doesn't it look beautiful? We've got all kinds of delicious green things. We have our bell pepper, celery. I love radishes. You're always gonna see radishes from me. Radish, cucumber, and of course carrot. And the great thing about crudite is you can put any vegetable that you're into. Jicama is a great thing. If you're into jicama, baby carrots, tomatoes, anything on here works. So it's beautiful. And then of course we have our green goddess dressing front and center to enjoy. And that's your crudite with our green goddess dip. All right, so we're going to make a balsamic vinaigrette, and for true friends, this is a dressing that is in my house at all times. And it's a great starter dressing when you're learning how to make salad dressing. Salad dressing, especially a vinaigrette, usually follows a very simple recipe, and it's either a 2-to-1, 3-to-1, or a 4-to-1 ratio. And that means 2-to-1 parts oil to vinegar. It's called a vinaigrette because it technically means a little bit of vinegar. So the dressing that we're making today is our balsamic vinaigrette, and we're going to do a 2-to-1 ratio. That means we're going to do 1 part vinegar to 2 parts oil. It's super easy. We've got 4 ingredients, and we're gonna put it in our handy dandy jar. If you have a mason jar or anything that you can put with a lid and just screw it on there and shake it up, that's gonna make this dressing super easy to make. So the first thing that we're gonna start with is our balsamic vinegar. And balsamic vinegar is something that you can buy at any grocery store. Usually at a grocery store, you'll see varying qualities of balsamic vinaigrette. If you want to go fancy pantsy and get the top of the line, go for it. You don't have to. I usually say somewhere in there, some vinaigrettes will have a numbering system, so they'll go like 1 through 4. Just kind of go in the middle. You want something that has a good flavor to it. You don't want it too rich. A very heavy balsamic vinegar is really better for like drizzling over fruit. For our purposes, we want a kind of middle of the road balsamic vinegar. So that's where this is. This vinegar actually came from Whole Foods. Again, this is a product you can find at any grocery store, no matter where you live. So we're going to do our 1 part vinegar. This is about 1/3 of a cup. We're gonna put it into our jar. The thing about dressing is before we put in our oil, we're gonna put in our seasoning. It's very important that you put your seasoning in before the oil so that the seasoning can really combine with the vinegar. So of course, we're using garlic. We sense a theme, right? So this is about 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we're going to do some fresh black pepper in this. And again, these things are kind of to your own personal taste. I like garlic and I like pepper, so we're gonna give it a good amount, a good little turn in there. So before we put in our oil, we're gonna close this up and give it a good shake. We wanna make sure that our seasonings and our vinegar become one before we put our oil in here. Now, you could put fresh garlic if you want to in here. That's not gonna be a problem. If you don't have fresh garlic, garlic powder, absolutely. You will find in all of my dressings, I do not put sugar in. I think sugar is a great thing in like cake, cookie, and dressing. No way. So we just have, this is a simple one. We have our balsamic vinegar, we have our garlic powder and our pepper. Now we're gonna add our oil. On this, as far as oils go, of course, extra virgin olive oil is very popular. You could also put canola oil. The main thing, you could do avocado oil. The main thing is just to know that some oils have a taste to them, so you want to make sure the taste does not overpower the vinegar. So if you're using an extra virgin olive oil, you might want to go with an extra like tasting extra virgin olive oil. Same thing with your avocado oil, just so that the balsamic still comes through. So we're going to add in our oil now, close up our lid, get it on there nice and tight, and then you're just going to give it a good shake. And then that's our vinaigrette. And we're gonna put this on our rainbow salad. All right, so now we are ready for the main event. Today we're making a rainbow salad. This is one of my favorite salads. This is one of the most popular salads at my restaurant. And it's a pretty easy salad to make. And to be very honest, salads are really pretty easy to make once you kind of figure out how to lay it out. My mom always tells me, oh, the salad tastes better when you make it. I personally think that's just her conning me into making her food. But the main thing of it is just really understanding what makes a good salad. We're gonna have some different textures, some different colors, and some different flavors. So this rainbow salad that we're making today, as the name suggests, has just a beautiful array of colors, but it also has a great variety of textures and flavors. So we're gonna start with our spring mix for this. And as I said earlier when we were working on the green goddess dressing, when you're buying produce, there's some things that you can get pre-cut and some things that you want to make sure that you cut yourself. Spring mix obviously is one of the things that you can buy at your local grocery store that's going to come to you triple washed, bagged up, ready to go. So that's something that we're not going to need to cut. We're also in our salad today, we're going to be working with some matchstick carrots. That's another thing that you're going to buy that pre-cut. If you really feel like you want to be the MVP of salads for the day, you can definitely get a whole carrot, grate it, chop it up into matchsticks. I will high five you all day long, but for our purposes today, we're going to go with some pre-cut carrot sticks. And then of course our tomatoes, we're going to go with some cherry tomatoes. Those are good to go. But the rest of our vegetables we have cut today. Again, avocado is something that you will sometimes find in your local grocery store. You'll find it pre-cut or pre-mashed. Unless that is the only avocado that you can find, don't get it. Buy the whole avocado. I bought this a couple of days ago. It was hard as a rock, and I put it in a brown bag, let it sit there for a couple of days. Now it's perfect. So we all know there's kind of an avocado thing happening in the world right now. So if you can only find green avocados, it's okay. Just buy some, put them in a brown bag, give them a couple days. They'll be perfect in about 2 to 3 days. And then radishes, we already talked about how much I love radishes. That's something that we cut ourselves. And then we have our cabbage and cucumber. Cabbage is another thing that sometimes you can find pre-cut at your grocery store. Don't do it. We're gonna cut ourselves, and right now I'm actually gonna show you how easy it is to cut cabbage. Sometimes, especially if you're new to veggies, some of these things can seem a little daunting, might seem like you don't know what you're doing. This is another one that is super easy. Very forgiving is our friend the cabbage. So here we have this is actually called red cabbage, but it's purple, so sometimes purple, sometimes red. So you're gonna cut it in half, and you can see in here that we have it inside. We have this core, and we're gonna cut that out because we don't want that to go into our salad. So I always cut this in half so that it can sit flat on the cutting board. That way it's safer. You know, you don't want to cut yourself. We've got a lot of chopping happening with salad, so you definitely always just want to be safe. So we've cut it in half so it can sit flat on our cutting board. We're gonna get our knife, and we're just gonna cut it in half again, so that way we can see our core here. And now it's just very easy to just run your knife down and boom, it's gone. We're gonna put that to the side. Same thing, do it again. We're just gonna run our knife down, and now that core is gone, and this can still sit flat. The thing I always say when you're cutting is get it to a size that feels comfortable for you. You don't want to have to worry about wobbling things and your fingers getting in the way. Just cut it again to make it the right size for your hand, and then you're gonna lay it flat again, kind of curving your fingers under so that they're nice and safe, and then you're just gonna do your knife through the cabbage. Slow and go is our tempo. So we're just gonna cut this down. And this, if you make coleslaw again, or if you're just, cutting for a stir fry or some other dish, this tactic is the same thing you want to use for that. So whether it's a salad or whether you're cutting this for ingredients for some other dish, this is going to give us nice bite-sized pieces. The thing I always say about salad is that we want it to be forkable. And by that I mean you can just eat it with a fork. You don't have, like, if I had just a giant piece in there, you don't want to just, shove it in your mouth. You want it to have a small enough bite, so that way we're gonna want all of these ingredients to come together. So when you take a bite of this rainbow salad, you're going to want to get this delicious cabbage, but you're also going to want to get some of the carrot and some of the radish and some of everything in here. So we're just, again, going to run our knife through this. It's very easy, very simple, safe, so you're not going to hurt yourself. That's the biggest thing. I mean, it's not fun if you're hurting yourself, right? So we're going to cut this cabbage up. It is going to be one of the stars of this salad. Now, I will tell you right now, when I first put this salad on my menu and I told people it was gonna have cabbage on it, oh, the stink eye I received. But trust me, it's sweet and it's really good and it doesn't have an overpowering flavor. And if you made this salad without this cabbage, I promise you, you would miss it. So the thing about salads is, give everything a chance. Like, try it before you decide you don't like it. If you've eaten something and you're like, I know, Sharon, I know I don't like this, I'm not gonna give it a try. Okay, I'll respect that. But if you haven't tried it like that before, I'm going to encourage you to please give it a try because it is a crucial part of this. I have so many people that swear they did not like cabbage and then they have this cabbage on their salad and oh my gosh, now how they love it. So we have our cabbage, we have it cut and ready to go, and it's so pretty, right? So beautiful. Okay, so the other thing that we have on this is going to be cucumber. Cucumber is another thing that you probably will never see this pre-cut. If you do, run in the opposite direction. Do not ever buy a pre-cut cucumber. This is an easy one too. This is super duper easy to make, okay? So we all know what a cucumber is. We've all seen this. It's at your local grocery store. You're just gonna cut this into rounds, right? And for this purpose, because we want it to be forkable, we're gonna cut it into quarters. So we're gonna get a little stack going, again, to a point that you feel is safe. We're gonna cut it in half, and then we're gonna cut it again. And so now it's gonna give us these nice little pieces. When we have our salad, that's gonna give us the right size to have everything mixed up, okay? So now we have all of our stuff ready. We're gonna plate this salad up. It's gonna be delicious, guys. You guys are gonna love this. All right, so let's make this rainbow salad. So we're gonna start with our spring mix. Now, if you don't like spring mix and you wanted to change this up with something else, you absolutely can. I personally love romaine and kale. When I make a salad, I usually mix those two greens up. You know, that's the best thing about salad is you make it how you like it, right? So if you're into spring mix, if you like spinach, arugula, there's so many great lettuces out there. So you just want to start with something that you know that you like and is going to taste good. This is going to be a beautiful salad today. So we have our spring mix. We're going to start with that. Then of course we're going to take our beautiful purple or red cabbage that we just chopped. We're going to put a hefty pinch on here. This salad is gonna be like for you and a friend or two. Or if you really just love salad and you're hungry, that's fine too. All right, so we have our cabbage coming down next with our carrot. Remember, this is a rainbow, so we're gonna make it look like a rainbow. We have our lovely carrots. We're gonna put some tomatoes on here. And again, you know, the beautiful thing about a salad like this is that you can have a little fun with these ingredients. So you could add different bell pepper, some fresh corn with this, anything that you like, you just put it on here. All right, we're gonna have our cucumbers that we just chopped up. We're gonna put that on here. This is really, I mean, it's just such a pretty salad. I normally don't like to geek out over my own food, but this is so pretty, right? It's gorgeous. We love her. All right, we have our cucumbers. Now we're gonna add Sharon's favorite, radishes. If you haven't had radishes, give them a try. They're spicy, they're crunchy, kind of peppery. They definitely add, I like to have crunch in a salad. That to me is, if I have a salad and I feel like it went wrong, for lack of a better word, it's because it didn't have enough crunchy things in there. So that's the thing when we talk about how to make a salad and make it really good, is that we wanna have a variety of textures. So we have our tomatoes, those are, you know, soft and juicy, but then we have our radishes, which are gonna be nice and crunchy. And then of course, everyone's favorite is gonna be our avocado, beautiful and green, very luxurious and rich. Perfect in here. I mean, this is, and if you are a person who is going plant-based or you're trying to cut out some of the dairy, the great thing about this salad is that there's no dairy in it. It's beautiful and delicious and not a piece of dairy in here. But we do want to have a little bit of a protein, so what we're having today are some sunflower seeds. You could also use pumpkin seeds or walnuts or any kind of nut that you like. I like sunflower seeds. I think they have a nice little kick or crunch. I also love pumpkin seeds on this. And then we're just going to put it in the middle. And now we have our beautiful salad. It's so pretty and perfect. And then we're going to top it off with our delicious balsamic vinaigrette that we made a little bit earlier. Oil and vinegar, so you're going to give it like a good shake. Shake this baby up. Remember, it's got that garlic and pepper, really delicious. I promise you guys, when you open this up and smell it, it smells really good. And it goes perfectly with this salad because it's a little bit sweet, but we didn't add any sugar, of course. So we're just gonna drizzle this on top of this salad. And I'm telling you, you will be the star of wherever you take this, or you're just gonna be the star of your own lunch today, because this is something super yummy. And that's our rainbow salad. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining us on Let Us Help today, where we learned how to make our delicious green goddess dressing for our crudite. And then, of course, we made a balsamic vinaigrette that went with our very beautiful and delicious rainbow salad. And this is what we're going to be doing on this show, is learning about vegetables, learning how to make dressings, and most importantly, learning how to make easy and delicious salads. I own a restaurant in Austin, Texas. It's called Baby Greens, and that's what we do all day long. That's how I started out. I taught myself how to make salads and dressings. And let me tell you something, it's so easy to make your own dressing and to make your own salad. You can put anything you want on there, and it's just fresh and delicious, healthy, yummy, all of the things that we want to have. So definitely come back and join us next week on Let Us Help. We're going to be making more delicious dressings, more delicious salads, probably even been making that very popular salad that everyone's making on TikTok. Come back and join us, and we'll be going over that again. Thanks so much for joining us on Let Us Help.